Welcome back, and here we are again! And Elder Scrolls Rant has returned. This gaming series is so big that it's impossible to cover absolutely everything in one single video. Many have tried, and many have failed. But Skyrim has gone down for countless thousands as their favourite game of all time. A game that has surpassed perfection, and one that will, and has, stood the tests of time. But there's one they fear. On the internet, he is True Review. YouTuber! Oh Christ, what can I say about Skyrim that hasn't been said already? There are so many videos on this game that this one will probably be hard to find on YouTube's search page, and I'm betting that only my regular viewers are going to be tuning in on this one. Hi by the way, hope you've all been well. Skyrim was technically a last generation game, yet you wouldn't have known it by looking, considering that Bethesda keep releasing the bastard like a winter cold virus. But you can sort of understand why. Skyrim is fucking amazing. It's many people's favourite in the series. Not mine though, we've already talked about that, but I will say that I've lost too many hours in this game, much like the rest of you, and that was certainly time well spent. You see, despite how much I heart Oblivion and want to have its children, I'll be the first to admit that it's aged pretty poorly. Skyrim, on the other hand, has been out since 2011. That's 6 years ago, and it's still considered one of the best current games to buy. But why is that exactly? Well, it probably has something to do with how much better the overall quality of the game is, how much better each guild questline is compared to Oblivion, how much accessibly playable it is in terms of combat, customization, leveling up and shit. It also brought over perks from the Fallout series, which helped to make things much more interesting. See, Morrowind's combat was based off of dice rolling statistics, Oblivion's combat was a bit better, but Melee always boiled down to block first and let the enemy hit you so they can become stunned and then thrash at them for a few seconds. Skyrim's combat, on the other hand, encouraged the player to get more aggressive with it. If an enemy strikes your shields, then it doesn't exactly stun them, all it means is that you're taking less damage. You could do a shield bash, which works in the same way, but that costs stamina, which is needed for combat. But instead of encouraging you to start off defensively, Skyrim's combat was far more rewarding if you started aggressively. It also encouraged you to dodge and maybe even take a step back if you can see your opponents winding up for a heavy attack. And for the first time, you could dual wield weapons, magic, and weapons and magic. You could have a sword in one hand and a ward spell in the other, allowing you to attack and defend yourself from magic attacks at the same time. Want to do that in Oblivion? Nope, because you haven't figured out how to hold your sword in your left hand, you right-handed superior jerk. And everything was just that bit more epic and wonderful than in Oblivion. The map, for one, could be hostile and brutal, and that's just the landscape itself. Oblivion had snow, grasslands with some forests, and marshes. Skyrim was mostly snowy, but it gives off the feeling that living here would be hard, that there is little comfort to be found in the open Skyrim countryside. Simply going to High Hrothgar required you to carry out a pilgrimage up a massive mountain that's getting hit by a powerful blizzard, with wolves and trolls littering the path. Sometimes you'll be riding along on your horse when the weather turns so bad that you can't see where you're going. You could be sat at home, in your nice warm room in front of the PC, with a blanket wrapped around your body, but I guarantee you, go to Winterhold and you'll start feeling cold. And then when you travel further south towards the Cyrodiilic border, the snow begins to melt, leaving you in front of an absolutely beautiful vista, with natural wonders, crystal clear waters, and a town settlement that's clearly hundreds of years old. Oblivion had some fields, and that's just the landscape. Go into it further, and there's so much more happening than you previously realised. This game really does want to give us the impression that this is a living, breathing world where actual shit happens even if you're not around. Like, does anyone remember going to Markarth the first time? You walk through the doors and BAM! Someone gets murdered right in front of you just like that. What the fuck? This is awesome! I've just shown up and the shit has hit the fan! I want to hang around here some more and find more cool stuff. Or like when you go to Solitude for the first time, and you've just shown up as an execution is about to happen. Literally just got here, and I got to see someone getting beheaded. And many of the guild's storylines are much better here. The Fighters Guild in Oblivion was just that. You're given a contract where you have to do a bit of fighting, and that's fine. But in Skyrim, the companions are at war with another faction, and you're now a part of it. Oh, what's that? That's still dull? Well, how about becoming a werewolf pretty much straight off the bat? Or the Dark Brotherhood, which admittedly was one of the better parts of Oblivion, has so much more character and relatability to it here. This time, they're a group that's on their last leg, and it's up to you to bring them back to greatness, but shit's gonna happen along the way, so don't expect everything to go smoothly. Like, the Thieves Guild in Oblivion was okay, but apart from the quests you get from the Grey Fox, all of the missions are unconnected. It's just, someone wants this stolen, go do it, and then you get paid. But here, you know that all of the missions are connected, that it's telling a story that you're actively a part of. Even in Oblivion, the Grey Fox asks you to get a load of items that'll be needed for the last mission, but that's it. And while you don't get the same chance in Skyrim, each mission is more of a single chapter in a bigger story. And the quests, oh my god, the quests. Like, is it okay if I turn into a fanboy for a second? Is that alright? Okay. Dude! Remember that mission where you have to assassinate the Emperor himself, but then it turns out that it's not him, and you're being set up, and then you have to escape? That was so cool! Or where you get into that drinking competition in Whiterun, and then you suddenly wake up in Markarth with no clue how you got there, and have to figure out what happened, and the whole quest turns into a parody of the film The Hangover? Or when you go to Windhelm and find that there's a serial killer about the place, and you get hired on as a detective and learn that he has a secret room in his house where weird shit happens? Or when you enslave a priest for Malak Baal? Man, those missions were so much fun! Or when you have to go and retrieve musical items for the Bard's College? That's the problem with Skyrim in comparison to Oblivion. See, Oblivion had some amazing quests too, but for the most part, I found that on average, Skyrim's were better. In comparison to Oblivion, Skyrim had less meh missions than Oblivion did, but when Skyrim throws us a boring mission, it throws it hard. Honestly, what was the point of the Bard's College? It's an institution that presumably trains and helps out musicians across the region so they can get hired on by one of the many taverns, but I'm not sure how we'd fit into all of that. Skyrim's answer is to send us on a few fetch and carry missions where you have to locate some sort of instrument in a cave and then bring it back. That's it. For about 4, maybe 5 missions. Skyrim Ultimate Edition! Go and retrieve Dickhead's flute. And that guild just reeks of unfinished. But judging by how the Mages College handled things, I'm not hopeful for what the Bard's College started out as. What I was a little let down by from Oblivion's Mages Guild, aside from the recommendations quest of course, was that there wasn't a mission where you get to learn magic. I thought that would have been such a cool idea for you to have a magic induction and learn some spells that become essential for later missions. This would also have been a great chance to learn more about the lore and history of Tamriel's magic. So when I first showed up at the college's door in Winterhold, I was fist pumping big time because I was gonna have my prayers answered. And then the game told me to kindly shut the f*** up because now we have a load of listening, following and talking to do. Does anyone else remember the mission, Good Intentions? When you complete the quest, have a look at the objectives you were given there and tell me if it sounds like fun. We have listen, follow, speak, find, and report. So you can go ahead and boil that down to speak, walk, and speak. I mean, this is some nail-biting shit, am I right? But anyway, back to more good stuff. Now you can craft gear, and quite literally make everything that you're wearing thanks to the mining, smelting and crafting mechanics that have been put here. In fact, if you own the Hearthfire DLC, don't by the way, it's not that great, you are required to build your own house, meaning that you have to go out and find all of the materials for it. It's a shame though that the end product is always crap. The house you end up with is never really that good, and some of the purchasable houses in town are just better anyway. It's alright making the house itself, but I guess that this was just practice for Bethesda before making Fallout 4. But on top of that, brewing potions was much better in this, and you could even make your own food. And there's quite a lot of food you can make as well. You can get married in this game? I don't know why you would, but you can. And you can adopt children too. Again, I don't know why you would, but you can certainly do so. Maybe you're into that sort of thing, or maybe you just want someone to look after your manor and eat all of your food while you're out. Unless you're picking Isolde, of course, and only doing it because she gives you drugs money every so often. Gotta love that girl. However, I'd also argue that Skyrim's success has also done a disservice to the overall franchise. As of when this video went up, it's been 6 years since any major Elder Scrolls title has come out. Yes, Elder Scrolls Online, I know, but that game should have been called what it really is. Kingdoms of Amalur Online, because that's basically what it is. But we're all waiting and hoping for Elder Scrolls 6 to come out, but that's not going to happen anytime soon because Skyrim keeps getting a new port. Sure, it's the must-play RPG of the previous gen, but it's also become the must-play RPG of this gen too. It's gotten so many remasters and re-releases that I'm not going to be surprised if they announce a classic HD remastered Ultimate Edition. Hell, we've already got a VR edition that absolutely no one fucking asked for. We don't want a VR edition, we'd rather see that a new title is in the works. And we know that any new title would be an instant success. Look what happened with Fallout. New Vegas is loved by all, but Fallout 4 is equally great. So please, Bethesda, please stop re-releasing Skyrim and try something different, okay? Even if it's the Skyrim engine in another province, we'll accept it for sure. Unless it's in Blackmarsh, because that sounds like it'd be shit. Actually no, just take my advice. Either Valenwood or the Sunset Isles. We'll be happy with either. In conclusion, you really don't need me telling you this, but Skyrim is an awesome game and should be tried out if you haven't already. Even if you've never played it before, you've certainly heard about it, and there's a reason for that. It can be played casually or as hardcore as you want, it caters to all gamers. So unless you really don't like role-playing and magic and dragons, then give it a try. Yes, if you only ever play FIFA and Formula 1, then this will certainly turn you off, but if you just want a game that offers you tons, yet doesn't demand anything from you in return, then this is certainly a game for you. And if that's not enough to seal the deal, then I'd like to add that this game does not include microtransactions, loot boxes, and has nothing to do with EA. And because this game has been out on PC, PS3 and 4 and the Xboxes for ages, then the bugs have pretty much been ironed out, so it's all good. And if you only ever play games on the phone, then just be patient, because I'm willing to bet that Skyrim will be coming to that soon as well.
Sometimes I think this life is killing me.